Hello and welcome back to NRC. Today we will be discussing DS9's Season 6 episode, Who Mourns for Morn. I'm Noah.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Curtis.
I've returned.
He's back.
I'm back.
I brought a mask to protect me. Don't know if you can see it.
Nice.
Nice. Aha. That was a joke I planned in 20 seconds.
Nice.
Look at that payoff. Wow. All right, so...
Getting back into the fight.
Yeah, sure. Finishing the fight. Come on, get it right.
Finish the fight.
Yeah. What's up, Curtis?
I'm
I don't know
Master
what
Chief.
It's referencing the Master Chief,
Oh.
which is the mask.
Is that
It's a joke, Curtis.
is that Halo 4 or 5?
Yes. According to Noah, the best Halo game is Halo 4.
What?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Halo 4 and Halo 5.
Is that when he wakes up? When he's in this floating spaceship or something?
Yeah.
Wow, Curtis knows more about Halo than I thought he did.
I've seen that opening cut sequence a couple times.
The
Couple?
trailer that came out. That was pretty
Oh, yeah.
exciting when that did happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
That
I
was-
remember being pretty hyped.
2011?
I think so.
Yeah.
11 or 12.
It would have been 11 because 12 they would have showcased the game
Okay.
because it was released in 2011.
Sure.
So we're completely off topic
Yes.
from Who Mourns for Morn, the Season 6 episode. Comedic episode, one might
Yes.
say. And we picked this episode because Ryan suggested watching In the Pale Moonlight, and I said no.
Why did you say no?
We weren't ready.
Yeah.
Oh.
We're not ready for that yet.
Yep. Not
We haven't
quite,
gotten there.
But one day.
One day. Just like Star Trek Beyond. One day
One day.
we'll talk about it.
Hmm.
Not today.
Mm.
Not
Okay.
tomorrow.
So the episode Who Mourns for Morn, it originally aired February 4th, 1998. It's episode 12 of season 6.
Hmm.
So yeah. So I don't know how old I was at that time.
Do we know who it was directed by?
Victor Lobel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the one we watched last week, I didn't realize until afterwards, but it was directed by LeVar Burton.
LeVar
Just cool.
Burton.
Yeah.
He directed a lot of episodes.
He did. And multiple Trek series too, so that I thought that was pretty cool.
He had more experience directing than the guy who directed Nemesis,
Mm.
Yeah.
who stuck him in a corner and had him not do anything.
Mm.
He also thought that
Oh yeah.
the character of Geordie LaForge was an alien because he had
Really?
blue eyes.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
No, he's just a blind dude.
Yep.
Oh. So yeah, it was aired then, directed by Victor Lobel. It was written by Mark Gerard O'Connell. So I don't know if he's done other Star Trek episodes before.
Hmm.
I found one rating for the episode according to IMDb. It was a 7.7 out of 10. Noah loves ratings.
I just don't see the point.
Yeah. But before we dive into like the meat of this episode, let's maybe one of you can give an explanation. Who is Morn?
Morn is the greatest side character to ever set foot into Quark's bar. And I put those caveats on it because DS9 has so many amazing non-regular characters. Damar, who only appears in 23 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ducat, of course. Wayoon.
Yes.
Liquidator Brunt. Yeah.
A lot of those characters are played by the same
Yes.
actor.
Jeffrey Combs.
Mm.
He played, I think, 3 different characters in DS9, if not 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
There's
was
some-
Been
having
around.
Kanar with
Damar. That rhymes.
Who's another recurring? Grand Negus Zek.
Grand Negus Zek.
I always liked it when he came
He's
on.
played by the guy from Princess Bride. What's his name?
Oh
It's
yeah.
the same guy.
The inconceivable.
That guy. Yeah. You know what's even better? He was really allergic to like the latex makeup.
Okay.
So in the first episode, the Negus, where he appears, you can see where his eyes like swollen shut because of it.
Oh no.
And he was so dedicated to the role that he just kept coming back regardless.
Wow.
Wow.
But
Did we ever have an episode where the Grand Nagus and Morn interacted?
I don't think so.
Oh, that's too
maybe
bad.
they stood next to each other. That's
Morn probably talked his ear off at some point.
Yes. Well, that's okay. So that's a little bit more about the character. So going into, you say that he's the greatest side character of all time. Why is he the greatest?
Because
What are
he's
his
always there
attributes?
and he says nothing
Yes.
ever.
There was a reviewer that I found. His name is. It was just on IMDb. His name of him was Hitchcock. Says that Morn is to Deep Space Nine what Norm is to Cheers.
Well,
He
that's
fills
the
up a
joke.
space, always the same one, and just stays there.
That's the joke. Is that it was a play on Norm.
I
Called
guess
him Morn.
I didn't
They
realize
just
that.
switched the letters
But
around.
Norm did do a lot of talking in Cheers.
Right. So then that's the
the
meta
joke.
joke on top of it is
Ah.
that he never says anything, but everyone keeps complaining about him talking for forever.
Yeah. Well,
That's
this
great.
is. I think this episode is like the first time. I don't know if we've ever heard other characters like talk about Morn talking so much, except for this episode.
It comes up again after this episode for sure.
Okay.
Before this episode, I don't know if they directly mention it.
I know
I have to rewatch.
there is one episode, I don't remember what it is, where Morn laughs.
Yes.
I think you may have pointed it out to me at one time.
I think I did.
You did?
Yeah.
I don't remember. I just know that somebody showed it to me and I was like, huh.
He
weird.
laughs
He laughs.
once
Yeah.
or something. It's just a laugh, and that's it. That's all you ever hear.
So,
They did design the whole head thing like his jaw moved, even though they never gave him a line.
yeah. Well, he did open his mouth in this episode.
Yes.
That is true.
So, I suppose we should dive into
Who
the episode.
mourns for Morn?
Who Mourns for Morn?
So
Open
the
interior
yeah,
of Cork's Bar.
right. Classic DS9 way
Yeah.
to start an episode.
In comes Constable Odo. He has a discussion for Morn. Because Morn's Slovenian beats have gone bad, and he wants to know what to do with them. Morn! Puts his hand through him. It's a hologram of Morn.
Yeah. Yeah, so then Quark goes into the discussion about how Morn is so...
He's the mascot.
Yeah, he's the mascot of the bar, and his sales go down whenever he's not there.
So he
said-
bought a holoprojector.
That can't talk
Right.
because it's too expensive.
Interactive holoprojectors are expensive.
Yeah.
Also, then we hear Morn speak. We can't have that.
Yeah. Because he never shuts up, apparently,
No.
according to all the other characters. Or at least Quark.
Right. You know what's even great to go along with that? In various Star Trek games where you can go to DS9 and you can interact with Morn, it just goes ... and then like fades out and then it comes back and says hours later.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
pretty sure in Star Trek Online it does that.
Nice.
I
That
know.
was pretty good.
It's wonderful.
Um,
So in comes Jadzia Dax, Captain Sisko. Jadzia is startled to see Morn because they know that his transport exploded or something, had an accident.
yeah.
So Morn was
So,
declared dead.
He was in an ion storm or something.
That's it.
Yeah.
Those darn ion storms.
Yeah, they just come out of nowhere, and
Ionize your whole plating.
I guess.
What do I know?
So yeah, Morn is presumed dead at that point.
No, he's declared dead.
Declared dead. Yes.
And so ensues an episode.
Mm-hmm.
Come back from the title sequence. The wake is about to begin. The wake for Morn in Quark's Bar. Everyone's in his culture. They're supposed to bring gifts to sustain him in the afterlife.
Chief O'Brien did not bring a gift.
No, he's embarrassed.
So he then bought what kind of ale is it? Luridian ale or
I don't remember.
whatever? Well, maybe not Luridian. That
No.
we learn more about
He is a
Luridia
Luridian.
later. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he then proceeds to have to buy some from Quark to give to Morn.
Right. after Quark told his waiters, if anyone's empty-handed, sell them a bottle of Uridian ale.
Uridian ale, okay.
Tell them it was Mourn's favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
And right away, Odo confronts Quark about how you're just so thoughtful to the deceased, holding this.
This week for Morn.
Yeah.
I'll have you know, he didn't pay this month's bar tab.
Yeah.
He had 2 stomachs to fill. Setup. Setup, Curtis.
Good
No.
setup.
It was a good wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yes.
And Quark gives a big speech. Everyone's sad. Even Kira's like, wow, Quark really surprises me sometimes.
Even me.
Me too.
Yeah.
And, keep it warm for Morn.
Yes.
Puts a random extra into Morn's spot. Make sure it's never empty, guys.
Which it's funny because, well, you know, it's always like pay somebody's respect, but in Quark's point of view, because he's a Ferengi, it's all about how do I make more money based off of this. So instead of, you know, reserving a space, it's keep this space filled so people can keep buying stuff from me.
Makes sense. My favorite part of that, and I mentioned it when we were watching, was that there's a group of Klingons there, and on the scene on the promenade where Dax and Worf are interacting, talking about Morn, you see one of them with a bottle, so they even brought something for Morn.
So what do you think their relationship is to
Well,
Morn?
Worf sparred with him, apparently. He
Yeah.
might have sparred with other Klingons.
Maybe.
You learned a lot about Morn's day-to-day life
Yeah.
that you just had no idea happened. In this episode, it's just truly
Yeah.
wonderful.
We also find out that Jadzia apparently had a crush on him
Right.
at one point before Worf and Jadzia started dating.
Those 8 or 9 little hairs are kind of cute.
He also we're also kind of set up with a bit of a timeline for how long Morn has been there, because they say that he came in about 10 years ago. He says that in the speech. Morn still had hair.
Right.
So that was, and that, is that later on, is that at the series finale when Quark is trying to sell, oh, spoiler alert, Morn is alive, but in the series finale, isn't he trying to sell Morn hair growing gel or something?
Guaranteed to
that-
help you grow hair or something.
Yeah, so I
that
thought-
happens at some point. I
Yeah.
don't remember if that was the finale or not.
I thought it was, and I was thinking about that. I was like, oh yeah, he tried at least.
It's also great because in the alternate, in season 4's The Visitor, Morn bought the bar in that alternate future where Captain Sisko had died. Yeah. Like, the Federation in that episode had to pull out, and everyone left, including Quark. But you'll never guess who's still there. Morn! He took over the bar.
Oh wow.
After we rescue Captain Sisko, we should all go to Mourns for a drink.
Oh yeah, that episode when it's Cisco is like stuck in like a point in time or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like a rubber band.
Yeah.
I think that's how they explained
Good
it.
episode.
Yeah, it was. I remember watching that episode while having to work like a coat rack or something. Like I think I had to do something for Boy Scouts or something where people had to like drop off their coats at like a
Coat check.
I was working a coat check, and we brought them our mini DVD player, that little old silver one. And I remember watching that episode while at the coat check because I was so bored.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another random side note that I noticed: the chairs in this episode, the bar stools, have backs. In like 10 episodes later or something, Odo comes in with a list of complaints, and he's like, "The bar stools need backs, otherwise." Morn could tumble off of his perch, and they're different chairs. And then later in the episode, he replaces them with the same stools that he used through the rest of the series that have backs. Completely unrelated. It's just something I noticed when watching the episode. I was like, "Oh, the stools always did have backs,
Huh.
just didn't for that episode." So that
So
Odo
that
could
you
complain.
just do that.
It's
Yeah.
like, Morn
Wait.
is perfectly distributed weight across the chair. You won't fall off.
Is that the episode when Quark is getting liquidated or
No.
whatever?
That's a different episode.
That's okay.
In the episode I'm talking about, Quark is trying to get an underhanded deal, as he usually does, and use Odo's relationship to Major Kira to distract him. It's like, it's your 1 month anniversary. You got to do something.
Oh,
And then using him being distracted as a way to sell some kind of expensive crystal or something.
That's right, because doesn't Quark decide to go through, because he's like, I owe him... 'cause
Odo.
Odo finds out about whatever this deal is, and he decides to let it go and do the anniversary at that time, yeah.
Because Quark helped Odo
Get
use the
Maurice,
Vic Fontaine program to
right.
get advice to woo the Major.
Yeah. Yes.
Woo.
Woo!
Woo.
Anyway, so what? Odo shows up, says,
Cisco shows up. I unsealed
"Oh, Cisco
Mourn's
has-
will.
Yeah.
He left everything to you. Morn, dear, sweet Morn.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's always got to
And
be
then-
dramatic.
I think they cut to Quark talking to Odo. Like, here's his financial records. This is impossible. According to this, he was broke.
How can that be? He always paid his bar tab.
The end of every month. Maybe all of his assets were tied up in inventory. Inventory, of course. They go to the cargo bay.
Just beats.
Oh, what's that smell? Vanadium beets, very ripe. What's in the rest of these? More beets.
More beets.
That's it? That's all he had? Except, of course, for the contents of his quarters. Maybe he spent all of his money on furnishings. Objet d'art, of course. Go to the quarters. There's his mud. He
His
slept
mud
in mud.
tub.
Yes, the tub of mud. Morn slept in mud. It's very good for your skin. Where so Odo hears he's not a solid anymore.
Yep. And his one painting
Yes.
of a matador
Yeah.
from Spain.
Apparently.
So, I guess he liked. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It is what it is. That's what he wanted.
Odo leaves, and out of the tub comes Laurel,
What-
Warren's ex-wife.
Yeah.
Was she
so-
actually his ex-wife?
No.
Or was she just?
No.
Yeah, it's just a story.
So,
That's
we're
just a
told
story.
it's his
Yeah.
ex-wife.
You get many stories about
Yeah, so many
what
different
Morn has
stories stories about Morn. But do we know what alien species is Laurel?
done. We might. I don't know it offhand. They've shown up at other times, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Because I think I've seen, there are also the two brothers that come in. I think we've seen that alien species before, but I don't remember.
I think we've seen them, except they were blue.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Or maybe I'm just thinking about the dinosaur people from Star Trek Voyager.
Oh,
And they're
no.
just reminding me of that because they
Oh,
have
no.
scales.
Please, no.
The dinosaur people.
Yes,
We should do an episode on that next.
Oh, wow.
I'll do it.
No,
Because
I'm
it'll
kidding.
be really funny.
I don't think we should.
You don't want to talk about the episode where dinosaurs were apparently, like, really smart, built spaceships
Yeah.
and then flew across the galaxy?
Eh,
Man. And it's all about doctrine. Oh, man.
Yeah, that's a weird religious doctrine episode.
Yeah.
One of Voyager's many message episodes.
Yeah.
mm.
How awful.
Which is funny because DS9 is like, it embraced so
Religion.
much of religion,
Right.
which was like
Or religious ideas, anyways.
anti-Gene Roddenberry because he didn't really want religion.
Well, the Federation isn't religious. It's
Yeah.
just Captain Sisko was sort of forced into the role. Or
Yeah.
yeah, kind of forced. The prophets kind of...
he was
rigged
just
it.
kind of like told, you're doing this. Well, and on top of that,
Right.
he was born into it.
like I said, they rigged it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Cisco had to be. So we possessed your mother and made her marry your dad.
So you could be
So you
born.
could be born.
Who looks exactly like Admiral Cartwright.
That's
Yeah.
weird. It's almost like they're played by the same actor.
You know what we could also do? We could do the episode when we get to see Cisco's dad when they go back to Earth. And was that the first episode we saw his dad?
Yeah.
When they go
Homefront
back?
and Paradise
Yeah.
Lost? Yeah.
I like those episodes.
They're good.
Those are pretty good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, so we discover Morn's supposed ex-wife,
Right.
who is
She informs Quark of 1,000 bricks of gold-pressed latinum.
hence the thing. That's the
The driving force of the
Yes.
episode is Quark needs to find this latinum.
yes. It's all about money.
We don't know the exchange rate of bars to bricks, but it must be good because he's really after it.
Mm-hmm.
We know the exchange rate from slips to strips to bars because he mentions it directly in a different
Do
episode.
you remember what that was?
No, not offhand.
Oh, jeez.
But bricks are basically invented for this plot. They've
Huh.
never been mentioned before. Interesting side note.
Yeah.
I like it how the first brick that we see in the episode is like really nice looking.
Right, because
It-
it's probably a real one.
And then-
even in universe. Real.
And then the later ones that we see in the episode, they look just spray painted.
right.
But the first one, it's like this pristine brick. And
Yeah.
it definitely like
It's supposed to
looks
entice
valuable.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he proceeds to drain the mud out of the tub, thinking maybe the latinum's at the bottom of the tub. I love his little, it's like a really tiny little suction device. Obviously, in the future, they probably have some like matter densing technology, or maybe it's
Or-
directly transporting it into like
I'm
a
thinking,
reclamation.
yeah, I'm thinking
facility.
that you can just like hook it up into the floor or whatever, and
Oh,
it just
maybe.
runs. Maybe
Yeah.
there's a system that runs throughout the whole station.
But I loved how tiny it was in comparison to the giant tub of mud.
Yeah, that was pretty good. And I thought it always looked weird seeing it disappear. Is that like a reverse footage, or I just
No,
thought it looked.
They're probably
strange.
actually running some suction.
Okay.
And it might be through a trick that, like you thought, through the floor, where
Yeah.
they're actually having like a suction device go through the floor so they would have
Maybe.
enough space.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
And then Laurel convinces Quark to give her 10%,
Mm-hmm.
100 bricks, because she could contest the will or something. Not that
Oh,
that
yeah.
makes any sense.
It's not supposed to.
No, but he goes along with it. He's
Yeah.
like, whatever, who cares? It's only 100 bricks. I'll still have 900. That's fine.
Yeah.
Goes along with it.
It's a lot
Playing
of
Tango.
Go.
Yeah, we fast
Playing
forward to
Tango
playing
with
Tango with Jadzia.
talking about that
Mhm.
situation. She's
And then-
like, don't trust her. Well,
Yeah,
I don't,
never.
but that doesn't mean I won't let her touch my lobes.
Ugh. That's always the
Umax.
weird like, huh?
Huh?
Don't touch my lobes. I'm like, ugh. I don't know. I always thought that was a really weird thing about the Ferengi.
That their ears were erogenous zones?
Yeah.
Okay.
I always thought that was very strange. But then, of course, the dude in Star Trek 6 and his knees were his
Genitals.
genitals.
Yeah.
So
Not everyone's genitals are in the same place, Ryan.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a good
Doesn't-
movie, wasn't it, Curtis?
Undiscovered Country. That's
Yeah.
a good movie.
Ah.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing you into the conversation.
You're right. No, that's
Right.
cool. I'm surprised the Ferengi weren't in the Undiscovered Country.
Yeah.
Somewhere in the background.
Hmm.
There's so many aliens in that
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, you never know. But that was taking place in like
TNG. The Ferengi
early
existed.
TNG.
The Ferengi
yeah,
existed
they
in
did
season
exist.
1. That was like the second or third episode, wasn't it?
Oh, right. But yeah, it was a point in Next Gen that I don't think they had ever seen a Ferengi
Oh, right. Yeah.
Mhm.
in real life, except for, of course, that Enterprise episode.
But even that Enterprise episode goes to at least a little length to explain why the Ferengi always like hightailed it and ran,
Mhm.
because they were under the threat of Captain Jonathan Archer. Retribution will come. Don't do this again, or something.
I forgot that the Ferengi were in Enterprise too.
Yeah,
That's
just one episode.
yeah. Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure Jeffrey Combs plays a Ferengi in that episode.
That he does.
He plays so many characters.
So
in
does
Star Trek.
what's his name that played Neelix?
Oh yeah.
He plays the Daemon in that episode.
Wow.
Ethan Phillips.
Yes.
Very cool. So he plays a Ferengi, and he also plays Shran, who is
Jeffrey Combs.
Jeffrey Combs.
Yeah.
Who I always thought Shran was one of my favorite
He's a great character.
characters that
Yeah.
came out of Star Trek. Well, that and Liquidator Brunt.
You would put them above Ducat
They're
or
funny.
Garrick?
Okay. Garrick is pretty good.
Yeah.
Garrick is he's an very interesting character. But it was just so cool that how they brought the Andorians into and giving them their kind of backstory into the Federation.
Fun times. One
And he's
also
such a good actor.
a second quick side note. I mentioned Neelix, or the guy who played Neelix, Ethan Phillips, playing a Ferengi in that episode because in an episode of Voyager, they altered him to look like a Ferengi when they met the two
yeah.
Ferengi who went through that wormhole in that TNG episode where they were trying to buy a wormhole from a random planet.
Aren't those the same Ferengi that were in that episode of
Yes.
TNG when they went through that wormhole that kept moving?
That's what I just said.
Okay, sorry.
Oh, those were the same Ferengi?
Yes.
I guess I never.
And
put
they had to convince
together.
the Ferengi to leave this planet because of the Federation don't like that they were messing with another culture.
Right.
So they dressed Neelix up as a Ferengi, altered him to look like a Ferengi, and was like, I am the Grand Proxy or something. You don't know the 297th rule of acquisition. There's only
didn't know.
285. There've been new rules since you've been gone.
Yeah. And didn't they use like almost the same footage from when they went through the wormhole? It looked very similar.
I don't remember.
Because I remember it looked really like out of place from like
From Voyager.
from Voyager, because it's been some time since those two episodes
I mean,
happened.
they might have just reused those same effects, which even
Maybe.
then would have probably looked dated by
That
the time
might
they
have
got
been it.
around to Voyager.
Yeah,
Or very similar effects, anyways.
yeah.
Coming back to Who Mourns for Morn from my multi-series jump away.
Oh man.
Where were we?
We were Jadzia and Quark were
playing
talking.
Congo,
yeah.
right? And
I think that's when we run into the brothers.
right, Quark. Does he bring the? No. Yeah, he brings the painting.
Yeah, he brings
Yes.
the painting into his quarters, I
And-
think, or he's in
No, he goes back to his quarters.
Okay.
It's his quarters.
Okay.
At that point. He sees a shadowy figure and he's like, oh, it's Laurel. I could get some Umox out of this. Love pleasant surprises.
Oh yeah.
Do you
I'm-
think I'm pleasant?
Sure. Then I'm a pleasant surprise.
The two brothers, Nosk and something that starts with a C. I don't remember.
I don't.
They mention the names
Kaz?
so infrequently. Yeah, it might have been Kaz. Because they're mostly just referred to as brothers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
They pretend to be business associates of Morn.
Yeah.
We made a loan to Morn, and we'd like the estate to pay us back 1,000 bricks of gold-pressed latinum.
I thought you were gonna say that.
Uh-huh.
It was a handshake.
Right. I need to see documentation of this loan. We shook hands.
Oh man.
Quark claims they're not the first creditors to make claims against the estate.
Mm-hmm.
Morn was expanding his business operations when he died.
We get to see some really good bullshitting from Quark
Right.
in this episode to like continue like stretching this on so that he doesn't just give it all away.
He
So that
doesn't
was-
give it all away, and of course they don't think that he knows that they're trying to trick him, or
Yeah.
he's trying to keep them
Mm-hmm.
from probably breaking his bones because
Yeah.
he smashes the
Oh yeah.
painting
he
over his
smashes
head at the end of the scene. Convinces them to take 50% after some haggling.
Mm-hmm.
Let us haggle.
Yeah.
So they smash the painting over his head,
Mm-hmm.
and in the behind the painting, he didn't look, but he found the little isolinear rod.
Yeah.
Isolinear data chip. He's like, computer, what is this? This is access for a claims locker from the station assay office, locker 137.
You were mentioning that we had seen that
The Office.
office at
Yes.
one point.
At one point. It's in the episode Q-less, the only Q episode. And I think it's in a season 2 episode also, where someone's trying to steal the Dax symbiont. It's
Okay.
not important. They throw Odo in one of the assay office lockers, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, he goes to Odo. Odo's like, you have to open it here. A deceased person's
And in the event
locker
of,
has to be opened in sight of a law official or something.
Yeah, and he's like, that's not a rule. You made that up.
You just want to see what's in it. I can't wait to see one of your deputies wheeling in my bricks.
And it's
It's just one little thing.
One container.
Well, good things come in small packages.
Yep.
He opens it,
Get to see
finds one brick.
the really nice looking
a
brick.
really shiny brick.
Yeah.
Does that cover his tab? Oh, it covers it. Look at it. On the bottom. Morn wrote, the rest is in the Bank of Boleus. Account number CJ57436.
Oh, wow.
He said
Yeah.
it like 10 times. Am I not going to remember it? He just kept repeating it.
I guess.
Well, he's skipping gleefully down the corridors, and he's confronted by
Laurel
first, and then the brothers in the turbo
in the
lift.
turbo lift.
And while Laurel was talking to him, somehow she sneaked that brick
Out of
his jacket pocket, and
But it's incredible because we see her hands the whole
Yeah.
time, and there's no way
Yeah,
that
that-
she grabbed it.
I spent that during that entire scene just watching, like, okay, where do her hands go? Just to see if, like, maybe they show it for a second, like Spock being
Right.
sneaky with the patch,
It would have
but
been nice, but nope.
no, it's just magic. maybe she
She
had,
transported
I was
it.
thinking that maybe she had a
Ah.
transporter.
Mm.
Just took just the brick, nothing
Just
else.
The brick. Incredible.
Yeah. So then he's confronted with the brothers.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, give me a little time. I can get it.
Mm-hmm.
And Norm. No, not Norm. That's the
Nos.
Cheers. Nosk. He's like, I'm sorry about the painting.
Yeah, he's very sorry.
Nosk is considered the slow brother.
Yes, I'm not slow.
We'll get there. Quark gets back to his quarters, and he's about to contact the Bank of Boleus to withdraw his latinum.
Mm-hmm.
And the gun is pressed against the back of his head.
Yep. And it's the guy.
Pain.
Does he ever give, like? Did he give his name right away, or did
I
he
don't think
just
so.
say that he was
Some agent.
of the what high court? La something.
Lesepian?
No. Maybe it was.
Because it was the Lesepian Mother's Day heist.
Yeah.
I don't think he would use the same. I don't know, maybe. I don't remember.
I don't remember. So
He's
he
like-
tells him that it was Mourn's bequeathal.
Right,
Bequeathment?
because he was a prince.
Yeah.
Morn was a prince?
Mourn was a prince.
Morn was a prince. That's what I'm telling you.
Yep. And so the next lie was about how he had apparently been a prince and he denounced his
Right to the throne.
right to the throne
which
when he
means
came
he
of
technically stole the money.
age. Yeah. And so then apparently when he had died, the money was supposed to go back
To the royal family.
to the royal family, according to this dude.
This random dude.
But then Quark goes on to tell him about Laurel and the brothers, and he starts getting a little kind of paranoid. And he's like,
Oh.
he's trying to think of like, oh, now these people are also after this money.
Right, because he knows who they are, so he's trying to
Come, keep edging it along.
get his money.
So Quark goes through and orders the
Contacts the
money
bank. Yep.
to be brought
Money's
to
on the way.
to be brought to DS9. And then fast forward again to kind of the confrontation, but the initial confrontation where all of the all of the
yeah.
people meet up. So first Laurel,
Morel shows up. He's like, I've been followed by 2 men. I don't know who they are.
or she broke into Quark's quarters,
Oh, right.
and then the brothers
show up.
Yeah, and they break his lock.
I really need to invest in a better lock
Break-
system. Brothers break in.
Quark tells them it'd be just a little bit more time. The money's on the way, and then they have to hide somewhere else because somebody else is breaking in
Right.
his quarters.
You'll be more comfortable back there instead
Yes.
of in the corner where Lorella's.
Yeah,
We'll be back there.
I'll be back there. More comfortable.
You should invest in a better lock system. Wow.
Yeah. So they come in, and then
Hayne comes in. And Quark's trying to let him know that the other people are here.
like,
Why are you craning your neck?
so then they all the parties meet, and they spill the beans on what had actually happened, where the money actually came from, and we discover that it was a heist.
Yes, the Lesepian Mother's Day heist.
Of the
You're trying to tell me that the four of you pulled that off?
5. Morn helped.
But then later in the episode, they said he didn't do anything.
He just stole the money after
He was their
took
getaway car. They threw it all the money in first, and then he drove off.
Yeah. And apparently, so the reason that they're all coming after the money now is the statute of limitations
Expired.
expired 2 weeks before, so they can no longer be arrested for the heist. So they're all got a little stir crazy over it.
Explains why Morn didn't use any of the money and just had it stashed away because now he can't be prosecuted for using it.
Yeah. Well, he did use some of it to pay his bar tab.
Oh, right. Well, we don't know that.
Yeah.
We assume he had stashed it away
Yeah.
to use at a later date.
Yeah.
So then they're all like, all right, the money gets here tomorrow. We'll wait for it, and then we'll each take our share.
Yep. And they're
And Quark's like, that's a great idea. Not you.
So Quark eventually, meanders his way into you need to making them agree that they need him, and then
You need
one
my
of the-
thumbprint.
So one of the
All right,
brothers.
hold still. This won't hurt as much. Pulls out a knife. About to cut off his thumb. Think about what you're doing. Are we just going to walk into the cargo bay with his bloody thumb and ask for the latinum? We need him.
Yeah. So they spend the rest of the
time
the next
waiting.
2 days
Yeah,
waiting
day and a
in
half
his
or something.
bar.
Odo shows up. We're closed at this hour.
We're commiserating.
Friends of Morn. How long will we be commiserating? Till 1600 tomorrow. Because
In
Odo
Odo-
shows up.
Odo fashion.
Very grunty fellow.
Yeah. That's
So,
Odo.
cut to tomorrow. The latinum's there. Quark takes delivery, puts his thumb on, opens up the canister. There's 1,000 bricks of gold pressed latinum. I'll count it. They all
then
pull out their
they-
guns. They're all pointed at him.
Yeah.
All right, someone else can count it.
Yeah. They proceed to start shooting each other.
Right, they
while
turned on each other.
Quark jumps into the into the little safe thing with all the bricks,
Canister.
and he's like, "I'll just hide in here."
Kill each other. It's all mine.
Somebody shoots a laser bolt through the canister at one point, and he almost gets shot in the face.
Odo
Odo
comes to
shows
the rescue.
up with security. It's almost as if he knew what time
Yeah.
things would be going down.
Yeah. Good thing he told him the time,
Yes.
so he could be there. Probably disguised as a mouse.
That's a different episode.
That was one thing I was always really confused about with
Conservation
Odo.
of mass.
Yeah, how he could just change.
He's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
I don't know. He could. One time he's a person, and then he'll be like a bird or
Right.
a mouse or whatever.
He's a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, Ryan.
Yeah.
It's not the T-1000.
Yeah. I know that. What was I remember watching some behind the scenes stuff for when the Transformers movie came out in 2007. How they really didn't want to follow the same rules as like the animated series,
right,
because
Megatron turned into a
he
gun.
would turn into a gun, and so they really
Big
didn't want to
evil
do
robot
that. So
turns
they had
into
to figure out
gun.
what Megatron would then turn into, if not a gun.
Cool spaceship tank thing.
Spaceship, tank, sometimes a jet, sometimes
No,
just.
the jet was Starscream.
I thought he could also be like a jet.
That was a
kinda
cool
thing.
spaceship thing.
It's a cool spaceship thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Completely unrelated.
very. That's sci-fi. It's close enough.
Lord. We did gloss over when they were commiserating at the bar. They're like, "Which one of you killed him?" And none of them did.
Yeah.
It really was an accident, huh?
Yeah. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink. Odo arrests everyone after they shot each other, and takes some of them to the infirmary.
Yeah.
Yikes!
And Quark proceeds. Odo opens up the canister. He's still hiding in there. And
Are they
tells
gone?
them they're all going to prison for
Long
attempted.
enough. Assault with the intent to kill.
Yeah. So.
Prepare to hear the most beautiful sound in the galaxy. Tunk.
Oh no. Yeah.
There's no latinum in these bricks. Someone's extracted all the latinum.
Yeah.
There's nothing in here but worthless gold.
Yeah.
Which is funny because in Little Green Men, he's trying to trade for bars of gold
Yes.
from the United States. A
Yeah.
couple of million bars ought to do it.
million bars.
Gold is good, he said.
Yeah. Gold
Now
is
it's
good.
worthless.
Yeah. And so then he's sad because all of his gold is worthless without the latinum.
So he tries to rip out Morn's stool.
We go back to the bar. He's very upset. He tries to destroy the stool. And then Odo shows up and he's like, "You might want to sit down. Have some news for you." And Morn unlocks Morn. All fine, alive and well.
I'll let him tell you about it. Well,
So close.
no, I don't want you to say anything. Literally screaming, "Morn, don't talk, for the love of God."
Yeah. And
we find out Morn hid all that latinum in his second stomach.
yeah.
Your second stomach.
Of course.
No wonder all your hair came out. That's a lot of latinum.
And Morn gives Quark some latinum to repay him for the trouble he went through.
So if that, and he says that amount of latinum that he spits into the
There's 100 bricks
is
worth,
100 bricks
which
worth.
is really strange.
So like how
Very
there
tiny,
must be
minute,
like just a little bit
Yep.
of that in
suspended in gold,
each, yeah.
apparently. I don't know.
So that was that was the one confusing part for me. Well,
Interesting.
well because there's also slips, tips, and
Slips, strips,
slips, strips,
and bars.
Bars. So then, how much latinum is in each of those?
Very little.
Very little. If that's 100 bar,
Well,
100 bricks worth.
you would know the percentage of each because you can,
I
because we know
suppose.
the rate.
Yeah, there must be like.
Someone's figured it out.
Yeah, there must be. Well,
They can't
so-
have figured it out because we don't know how many bars is in a brick.
So latinum, it's liquefied. So
Yes, and suspended in gold. Gold
There must
flakes or
be-
something.
there must be some equation out there that shows like the
Someone's done the math,
the
I'm sure.
what is what is the
Where are you going with this, Ryan?
I just keep thinking mass, and
Uh-huh.
I'm trying to think like
Curtis, your
liters and
thoughts?
whatever.
I was just thinking when I edit this, I'm going to have to put overlays of equations and things.
It's like
Classic.
it must be out there somewhere. Like, what is the ratio of the amount of latinum to gold?
Oh, okay.
I
see.
Right.
So I don't know. And
I don't know either.
And then how do you figure that out for a strip, a tip, a bar, and then a brick? like, how does that change? They must be out there somewhere.
It's not, because we don't know how many bars is in a brick.
It's true. So then it must be at least something for tips, strips, and bars
Right.
somewhere out there. I don't know. Maybe there must be some like super fan of DS9 that figured out how many bars are in a bricks.
They never mention it. I've checked Memory Alpha.
Oh wow. They know all.
Because I had the same question when I was watching this.
Oh.
When I decided we're gonna watch Who Mourns for Morn, and I was like, how many bars is in a brick? I wonder if they ever. Nope. No one ever.
It's not in like any of the
Nope.
Star Trek books that.
Well,
we've-
those aren't technically canon. Memory Alpha goes strictly off what is
Yeah.
screen canon.
Okay.
Screen canon.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check
And
that.
sometimes the animated series.
Maybe I'll check that Star Trek encyclopedia. Book
Curtis
that I
has a
got.
bunch of those,
Yeah.
or he did.
Yeah, I don't have the actual encyclopedia though. I have some
Oh.
of the other books.
Tragic. We're doomed.
And English to Klingon.
I think I had wound up with that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Mm.
I haven't looked recently.
I think it's on my bookshelf.
So, any final thoughts?
Final
Final thoughts. It was a good
Well,
episode.
It's a good episode. It's fun.
Yep.
And it's right after the long depression of the Dominion War.
Waltz.
Oh,
I
and
think
Waltz.
was-
Waltz is a really good episode.
Yeah.
That's an episode we should talk about.
Yeah. And that's a Ducat and Cisco episode,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Is
That's
that
when
the-
they're on their planet.
Yeah.
They're marooned. Well, they're not actually marooned.
Isn't it the
Ducat
like after
maroons
Ducat like lost his mind or something?
Right. But he loses his mind more in that episode.
Sure.
It's great.
Yeah. So yeah.
And that is
Nice.
why you
Seeing
are
him.
not an evil man. After he says he should kill all the Bajorans.
Yeah. He then proceeds to try that.
Try. Yeah. Oh, it's a
It's-
great episode.
Yeah.
It's really where Ducat's arc ends, but then they stretch him out for another season and a half.
Yeah. Yep. Then they turn him into a Bajoran, which was kind of strange.
In a way, that's fitting. I
Yeah.
don't know, like, it's interesting the parallels you can draw to Battlestar Galactica, which was also worked on by Ronald D. Moore, because both the series kind of end and, like, thematically it makes sense, but it just doesn't feel right.
Mm.
You know, it's just kind of, it's there, it ends, and it's like, okay, I see what they're going for, but there's something missing.
Mm.
Doesn't quite feel like a fitting standoff.
I mean, we almost got a continuation from that Deep Space Nine
Right, but that's not
30 years later where they... Was
It's
it
not
30
real.
years?
whatever. What we left behind.
Yeah.
Maybe after the rousing success of Star Trek Picard, they'll make a Star Trek Cisco
You really want Avery Brooks to come back?
or Star Trek Garrick,
You never know.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch Star Trek Garrick.
Star Trek Quark.
Or maybe, like, it would just be the Obsidian Order.
Well, it's interesting because the actor who played Garrick, Andrew J. Robinson, I want to say is who it was. He, after playing the character of Garrick on DS9 for 7 years, he had like all these ideas of what Garrick had done. He wrote a Garrick book.
Really?
Yes. And got it published through Star Trek.
Wow.
Like, that's how into that character he was. So,
Did you read it?
no. I never
We
got
should-
around to it.
We should try to find it.
Probably could. So, he would probably come back to play the character, to be honest.
Garrick.
Bring back Siddig, El Fidel, Alexander Siddig, Bashir, our man,
Our man, Bashir.
and then bring Ezri back just 'cause
Yeah.
they had a relationship.
Right.
Not everything has to be ruined,
Yeah.
like Seven and Chakotay. Rip. Ripperino.
Yeah. No, but for Who Mourns to Morn, Who Mourns for Morn. Yeah, it was a good episode.
Mourns for
It's,
Andronis.
Yeah.
Waited the whole episode to make that joke.
Man.
It is a direct reference. They titled it the same because of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, it goes to show the versatility, I think, of Deep Space Nine, where they go from very, very serious tones to also having these very,
Fun.
very funny, comedic episodes. They bounce back and forth. I was thinking about it the other day, how DS9 is. It reminds me kind of the show Scrubs, because they're able to balance, serious drama and comedy very well, even within an episode. They'll bounce back and forth between that. So this is just another good example of that.
Yeah. Profit and Lace is not a good example of that. Don't watch that episode.
No.
I don't even remember it.
It's the one where Quark gets a sex change
Yeah,
to sell female clothing.
that's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
To
Yeah, because the women were getting more progressive or there was a progressive movement of women on Ferenginar due
thanks to Moogie.
his mom.
Oogie.
because she was involved with the Grand Nagus, so she was able to push for these progressive ideas. And
Zeki.
Zeki. So he legalized women wearing clothing,
Yeah.
and it shut down the Ferengi economy.
Yep.
So then they had to convince the Sluggo Cola guy to.
Yeah.
But then Moogie got sick or ill or something, so
Or she didn't
Quark
wanna go
had to
through with
become a
it,
woman to. Yeah, it's a terrible episode. Drink Sluggo Cola. It's the slimiest cola in the galaxy. That's the best part of the episode. Is that slogan?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Curtis, closing thoughts?
Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's a great Quark episode.
There are quite a few of those.
Yeah, usually it's more like Ferengi in general, but this one was very just Quark.
Right. We could also watch the other season 6 Ferengi episode, The Magnificent Ferengi. Now, that's a great episode.
That's a great episode.
Maybe later. We'll figure out next week's episode next week.
Do we want to? We should also maybe watch Rocks and Shoals before that.
Oh, Rocks and Shoals.
We should discuss that because it's the same Vorta from.
Oh right.
From that episode.
This is Kivon.
That they use in The Magnificent Ferengi.
Then he dies.
Yeah, then he dies because they accidentally shoot him.
Cousin Gala shot him. I come here, risk my life, and for what? I've been meaning to do this for a long time, cousin.
Yeah.
Accidentally shot the Vorta.
And I liked the Eliminator.
Lex.
He doesn't.
Leck.
He doesn't deal in Latinum.
You're right. His priorities are different. I thought you didn't care about Latinum. I don't. I just don't like to be cheated.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It is good.
Yeah.
All right. So
Good episode.
we agree it's a good episode. Who mourns for Morn? Recommended.
Yes. Alrighty.
This has been NRC episode 5 by technicality.
Yeah.
Could have been episode 6. R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever we talked about.
Right.
That one that was lost to oblivion. I don't even remember. Thanks for watching.
Like and subscribe.
We forgot to tell them to share the video every week.
Oh yeah.
So for this episode and all the previous episodes, go and share with your friends because that will be obnoxious.
Twitter only.
Twitter only.
Yes.
We're not only on Twitter. Ryan shares things on that book of faces.
Yes.
Okay.
Share.
Facebook too.
Share wherever sharing is.
You know what we should
available.
do? We should create a MySpace page.
Ooh.
That'd be silly.
That would be silly. That's why.
Oh man.
Curtis, have you ever visited Lightning Fast VCR repair store?
Oh.
It's a real website. It's not a real store, but shout out to Red Letter Media. So thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thank you. Like and subscribe.
And subscribe.
And subscribe to the commenters.